And nonprofit groups are warning of dire consequences from the Trump administration's efforts to shut down the Voice of America. The U.S. Agency for Global Media and its affiliates reportedly reach 420 million people in 63 languages each week and have played an outsized role in covering political repression. But President Trump has deemed it an unnecessary government entity in an executive order. The White House says will ensure taxpayers are no longer on the hook for radical propaganda. Now, full-time Voice of America staff have been placed on paid administrative leave as Reporters Without Borders and the Committee to Protect Journalists are expressing outrage, saying the move will allow authoritarian regimes to spread their propaganda unchecked. Voice of America press freedom reporter Liam Scott joins me now for more on all of that. Liam, thanks for coming on. Why do you think Voice of America's work is so critical, and what's at stake if it is shut down?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. The news is something that I kind of half expected, but it still came as a shock. Voice of America is a really unique news outlet. We're an international broadcaster, like you said, that broadcasts to a huge audience around the world. We don't broadcast to the United States, though. We broadcast to some of the most censored countries in the world. And I think that shows that VOA really embodies America's deep commitment to the First Amendment. We model what a free press looks like to the rest of the world in places that might not have a news landscape like we have here in the United States. And we do that through our fact-based, unbiased, balanced news coverage. And that's what's at stake if VOA is lost. That will be lost for hundreds of millions of people around the world who turn to VOA for news every week.
You said in a social media post, Voice of America was a great place to work until it wasn't. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, Voice of America was my first full-time reporting job out of college, covering press freedom, an amazing beat to be covering that not many news outlets focus on. I got to do amazing stories, but in recent months, it became difficult to cover certain stories about the United States and press freedom. But I'm still so proud of the work that I've done, that my colleagues have done, and remaining so committed to our mission despite challenges to report and deliver balanced and independent news coverage to our audiences around the world.
And the White House listed several examples of what it calls Voice of America's radical propaganda, saying, and I'm quoting here, reporters have posted anti-Trump content on social media. Its management told staff not to call Hamas members terrorists, and it ran stories on things like white privilege and transgender migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. So what's your response to that and the general accusation that this organization is biased?
Look, I would say Voice of America takes our mission to report balanced news very, very, it's very, very important to us. And that's something that I saw firsthand in all of my coverage.
Elon Musk says nobody listens to these outlets anymore, and they are, quote, just radical crazy people talking to themselves while torching $1 billion a year of U.S. taxpayer money. Why should American taxpayers pay for journalism in other parts of the world?
Yeah, like I said, Voice of America doesn't broadcast to Americans. They're not our intended audience, but Americans are still really important stakeholders in the work that VOA and our other entities do, because VOA is such an important manifestation of American public diplomacy, American soft power through our, by delivering independent news to countries around the world where press freedom doesn't really exist. And then also just from a national security perspective, if VOA and our sister outlets like Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia are dismantled, that really does leave a void for Russian disinformation and Chinese disinformation to go unchecked.
All right, Voice of America press reader reporter Liam Scott, thank you.